Let's bring in our reporter, Mbalenhle Mthethwa, who's live from OR Tambo International Airport in Kempton Park. Mbalenhle, a very good afternoon. I mean, you're on the ground. You're really interacting with commuters, travelers alike, who possibly still have more questions than answers given what's transpired, right? Talk to us a little bit more about what you're seeing. What are the sentiments being echoed by passengers at this point? Are they frustrated? Are they confused? Are they trying to rebook? Tell us a little bit more.
Well, many of the passengers that we've spoken to have told us of the sad story of how the airline that they were using was not able to provide them with alternative accommodation. Some of them have expressed frustration over the fact that they have had to wait for maybe one day. The last person we spoke to said they had to wait for 5 days here in Johannesburg, and without the airline providing them with accommodation in Johannesburg. Many of the passengers we spoke to were coming from Cape Town, going to catch a connecting flight to Dubai and then to their various destinations. And it would seem as though it has been difficult to at least get assistance and answers from the airlines. And it would seem as though there's also frustration as to why is it that another airline such as Qatar was able to provide contingency measures such as putting up their passengers in, or rather the stranded passengers in hotels, while those who are flying with Emirates were given the promise that they would be reimbursed once they have paid for their own hotel stay. However, that was not possible. And even though ACSA has issued a statement giving numbers that passengers can perhaps use in order to set up new flights or get answers, it would seem as though that line is not working. This one passenger is traveling all the way to the UK, and unfortunately, after trying to get through to that number, was unable to get a response and has had to fork out more money to get home. Unfortunately, please tell us about your experience.
Well, I understand it's not Emirates' fault. Obviously, this new conflict's going on in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, and I was going to fly into Dubai, so they just cancelled straight as soon as I got to the airport. So luckily, my cousin lives in Durban, so I was able to go and stay with her the night and arrange myself flights to here and then London Heathrow via Cairo. So it's a long way, and I won't get home until tomorrow night probably.
And you explained to me that you have tried to call the number that was provided by...
The number provided. We tried for ages trying to get through and nothing. So I gave up on that, and because I had to get home by tomorrow, I just made my own arrangements in the end.
Must be very frustrating. I mean, had you not had relatives in Durban, that means you would have been...
Yeah, I would have had to stay at the airport, but there aren't any hotels near the airport in Durban, so I would probably have had to stay in the airport. So, yeah, it wasn't very satisfactory at all.
It's so unfortunate that this could perhaps be a humanitarian issue, given the fact that, people have been stranded as a result of something that is completely outside of their control. And yet, even though, airlines are supposed to make a profit, but at times such as these, you would expect them to at least put those interests aside to assist their passengers who have actually been able to help them meet their bottom line.
Yeah, well, I asked one of the staff there yesterday at Emirates in Durban what was I supposed to do, because my cousin lives about an hour away from the airport, and that's all she went. She just shrugged her shoulder. I understand it's not their fault, obviously, but there didn't seem to be any system of, anything for them. to be able to hand over to the passengers because there was no information. They didn't know anything, I realise that. But it was, yeah, it wasn't good.
Well, there you have it. I have the helpline in front of me that was seemingly unhelpful at all. Not the first passenger to talk about the difficulties of trying to get communication with, or rather of trying to communicate with the Emirates airline and being unable to get through to anyone at this point in order to get those answers as to what happens next. Many people have been stranded. Some will wait for 2 days. The one person will wait for 5 days, and it's not clear as to what will happen between now and the time when they are going to be able to travel to their next destinations. It is an unfortunate situation that many people find themselves in. South Africans are also stranded abroad, and as we know that there are conversations that are taking place between the different embassies to ensure that those who are stranded abroad are able to return safely. But this passenger has had to pay for another flight in order to make it back home on time for various reasons. But it would seem as though even the helplines that have been provided by the airlines, particularly in this case with Emirates, has not been able to go through, and passengers have been left frustrated and with no answers, miscommunication, and different sets of information that have been shared among passengers, and with promises that have been left unfulfilled. It's back to you in studio.
Thanks, Mbalenhle. I know it's going to be a long night monitoring what the implications are also looking like in real time. Thank you for that update live from OR Tambo International Airport, because really just trying to ascertain beyond the economic costs, the impact that this has had on flight routes as well. We heard from ACSA earlier on in their communique that 7 outbound and 1 inbound flight had been affected, and obviously just questioning waiting from here, what options remain at travelers' disposals as they try to make sense, but given the information that's coming through.